Hello everybody and welcome back to the Second Chance series. Today we're going to be talking about the backstory of one of my favorite characters in the series, John Charleston. Now John Charleston actually existed my whole life, kind of. So he was not a real person. At the same time, he was a big part of the family. Let me explain. So growing up on a farm out in the middle of nowhere, my mom taught my brothers and I to always lock the doors at night and whenever we left to go places. Well, Jesse, my little brother, who's also known as Josiah, had a hard time with this. So what I did was I told him that we need to lock the doors at night because we have a brother living in our walls. So not only do you have to lock the front door so he doesn't get out, but you need to lock the closet doors too. Now, yes, he didn't put two and two together that by locking the front door, if John was still in the house, he could just unlock the front door from inside the house. Jesse was little at that point. So I had this story that I had this older brother named John who lived in the walls. Now, Jesse was a very smart little kid. He goes, well, I haven't seen John. Where's he at? I don't understand. I'm going to go ask Mom. Mom will tell me. And so I had to stop him and I said, wait, no. Don't ask Mom. Mom is repulsed by John. Same way with everybody else in the family. If you ask Mom about John, she's going to tell you that you're crazy and she doesn't know what you're talking about. And Jesse says, okay, I'm going to ask Mom. Get off of me. So then he goes ask Mom while she does the dishes. And he says, Mom, who's John? And Mom looks back at him and says, I don't know what you're talking about. So Jesse's face dropped and then he ran away. Well, what happened was I had to make the story a little bit more believable. So the next day, Jesse had a terrible problem of leaving apple cores all around the house. His whole life, even when he was in his teen years, he would leave eaten apple cores all over the house. Well, when he was little, I told him, I said, Jesse, if you leave that apple core up here in the attic, then John will get upset. And he goes, John's not going to get upset. What's going to happen? And I said, and are you leaving your Legos out? John hates when you leave the Legos out. He likes to have a clean attic. This is where he goes at night sometimes whenever he walks around if he gets out of the walls. And Jesse says, I don't know what you're talking about. Well, so while Jesse was gone, I took his Legos and I threw away the apple core and I spelt out John with his Legos. So that way, when he went back upstairs in the attic and he saw John written in his Legos, he screamed when I was downstairs and he came running down there and he says, Jacob, it was John. I said, Jesse, don't bring me in this. You're too deep. You're already far in this. Don't bring me into this. He's stronger than Dad and stronger than Josh, which is why in the story, John is described as an individual who's extremely strong, who is probably stronger than Dr. Charleston and is stronger than Joel. That's one of the reasons why I described him as that way. Now, continuing on with the story, we have Jesse as he grew up. We actually kept this story for a long time. Now, my older brother, Josh, wasn't necessarily on top of this, on board with this story. He actually didn't like the idea of John, and which is why I told Jesse that because he had to take over John's role in the family as the older brother, he actually despised John and didn't like to talk about John in the slightest, which is what I put in the story then. So that's why Joel actually doesn't like to talk about John. Joel, of course, loves John, but he knew it was going to be hard to take him down one day. So that's what I put with my older brother, Josh, why he didn't like John. So I put that in the story as well. So as we got older, John became kind of a running joke in our house. So if I had friends who came over, sometimes they would open up the closet where I said John would usually go into, and they would talk to, got my friends in on it, they would sometimes talk inside the closet when they knew Jesse was coming up, and then once Jesse entered the room, they closed the door real quick and be like, oh, Jesse, I didn't see you there. And Jesse would go, I know, you were talking to John. and he would walk off, no problem, and it just kind of became normal. Well, I want to say around 2009 or 2010-ish, maybe closer to 2011, as Jesse got a bit older and I started to get into the heart of high school, I think sophomore, junior year, that's when Jesse actually started to not believe in John as much anymore. I think a lot of it was because my I got really busy with sports, maybe. I do remember that there was one trick I pulled on him, and I really thought it was a good one, and it did work for a little bit, but I felt bad and actually revealed it later that it was me. So what I did, when I described John to Jesse and Living in the Walls, and you guys will know him at the end of the book when it goes like that, whenever it describes him with long black hair because he let his hair grow out. Well, I described him in the walls as having long black hair, except he hunched over a little bit with the shoulder creeping up like this, and he dragged his hand across the ground. Well, we had a wig in our closet, just a Halloween black wig with long black hair. So I got home my sophomore year from working at Dairy Queen, and it was probably 10:30 or 11 o'clock at night. Jesse was asleep, but I could hear him. I think he was playing his Game Boy in his bed, and we slept in the same bedroom. So, well, I went in there, and I put on this wig, and I just stuck my head past the door, and I made a little creaking noise in the room at the front of the door. And Jesse looks at the front entrance of the doorway and goes, Jacob? Well, at that point, I made a moaning noise, I made, well, and then I took off. I crawled away and went downstairs, and when Jesse looked for me, I hid, but then about, I want to say, 10 minutes later, I came upstairs, and he was kind of up there. I don't know if he was scared or not, but I walked in, I didn't have the wig in or nothing, and he goes, did you just get home? I said, yeah, why? And he goes, I think I saw John. I said, no, you didn't. Yes, I did. No, it was me. I finally revealed the secret to him that I was John, that John was kind of made up, which he kind of already knew at this point too. And if you notice in the story in 2010, that's actually, spoiler alert, that's when John dies. And the reason why I wrote him dying in 2010 is because that's right around the time where Jesse started to kind of grow out of the imagination and the running joke that we had as John. So that's the kind of the storyline of and the history behind John's character. To this day, my parents and I and all of us still make jokes about John in the household. And, I showed you guys the real locations in a video before of all the different places I would say, in the fireplace behind there, that was John's room. We had, cracks in the wall where I would say, oh yeah, that's where John goes in the wall here. And everything just kind of built on top of each other. And I thought it was just too good to pass up. So that's why I incorporated it in the Second Chance series. So if you guys have any questions about the character John, or if you like this and you guys want to hear about the character Jackson, feel free to leave a like in the video and comment in the video below, or comment in the description down below. Thank you so much for everybody's support. I really do appreciate it. I can't wait to keep releasing all the books. They're going to keep coming, I promise, and the videos will keep coming along with them. If you guys have any ideas of videos that you want to see, feel free to let me know in the description below, or the comments below rather, whatever you guys want, okay?